behind the gilded gates of Buckingham Palace, beyond the crowns, the ceremonies, and the carefully rehearsed smiles, exists a hidden world the public rarely sees. A world governed not by modern logic, but by centuries-old rules so strict, so bizarre, and so symbolic that breaking just one could shake the monarchy itself. From secret handbag codes to laws controlling love, from raven guardians protecting the fate of a kingdom, to food rules so obsessive they ban garlic and square sandwich corners. These aren't rumors. These are real royal protocols, enforced, obeyed, and feared. And once you hear them, you'll never look at royalty the same way again. Fact 1. Christmas Way-INS are mandatory. At Sandringham Estate every Christmas, a peculiar ritual unfolds behind palace doors, before the royal family can sit down to their lavish Christmas feast. They must step onto antique weighing scales, and after dinner, they must weigh themselves again. The objective isn't health. It isn't fitness. It's proof of indulgence. Guests are expected to gain weight, typically 3 to 5 pounds, as a sign they fully enjoyed the monarch's hospitality. This bizarre tradition dates back to King Edward VII, a ruler famous for his extravagant banquets and love of excess. He believed that weight gain meant success, a physical symbol that his guests had eaten well and honored his generosity. Royal staff meticulously recorded the numbers in ledgers. Family members lined up one by one, some amused, others embarrassed. Former palace insiders describe a moment as awkward, humorous, and strangely competitive. A quiet rivalry reportedly formed over who could gain the most weight. And despite modern discomfort, no one dares refuse. Because in royal life, even your body weight can become tradition. If you think stepping on scales is strange, wait until you hear how the monarch controls love itself. Fact 2. The monarch must approve marriages. In the British royal family, love is not enough. If you are among the first 6 people in line to the throne, you cannot legally marry without formal written permission from the reigning monarch. This is not tradition. This is law. A royal heir who marries without consent automatically loses their place in the line of succession permanently. The rule originated in the 18th century after a scandalous marriage embarrassed the crown. From that moment forward, royal romance became state business. Permission must be granted through a formal document known as an instrument of consent, an ornate legal scroll decorated with national symbols, signed by the monarch, and archived in royal records. It is not a blessing. It is a legal authorization to love. Prince William required consent. Prince Harry required consent. And every future heir will too, because in royal bloodlines, your heart answers to crown. If the monarch controls marriage, they also control something far more critical: who survives the rule. Fact 3. 2 heirs cannot travel together. There is one scenario the monarchy fears above all else: a single disaster, wiping out multiple heirs, triggering a constitutional crisis. That's why direct heirs to the throne are forbidden from traveling together on the same aircraft. The rule exists to protect the future of the crown. If the worst happened, if a crash claimed more than one successor, the monarchy could be plunged into chaos overnight. This rule applies to the top heirs, and special permission must be granted for exceptions. Even family vacations require strategic flight planning. Routes are separated, planes are split, schedules are staggered, because for royalty, travel isn't just movement, it's succession security. And the throne must always have a survivor. But sometimes, the monarchy doesn't rely on laws or aircraft rules. Sometimes, it relies on silent signals. Fact 4. The Queen's handbag was a secret code. Queen Elizabeth II never carried a handbag just for style. Her purse was a covert communication system, a silent royal language, used to control conversations, escape awkward encounters, and command her staff without ever speaking. If she shifted her handbag from one arm to the other, it meant, "Get me out of this conversation." Staff would intervene within minutes. If she placed a handbag on the floor, it meant, "Rescue me immediately." That signal triggered urgent intervention. Even the way she adjusted the clasp or rested the bag on her lap carried meaning. Messages only palace insiders understood. It allowed her to remain polite, composed, and in full control, even in rooms filled with world leaders. A queen who ruled not just with power, but with precision and silent authority. But some royal rules don't involve signals. They involve ancient superstition and the fate of a nation. Fact 5. 6 ravens must guard the kingdom. At the Tower of London, there exists a prophecy older than modern Britain. If the ravens ever leave the tower, the monarchy will fall, and the kingdom will crumble. Because of this legend, at least 6 ravens must always live at the tower, not symbolically, physically. A full-time official known as a Raven Master is employed to feed, monitor, and protect them. Their wings are lightly trimmed to prevent long-distance flight. They are named, cared for, and treated as guardians of the realm. There are always 7 ravens, 1 extra in case fate intervenes. During wartime, when raven numbers drop dangerously low, staff reportedly fear the prophecy might come true. A modern nation, still protecting itself, with birds, because tradition demands it. We've seen how royalty controls bodies, love, travel, silence, and even superstition. But some royal rules go deeper, into food, faith, language, dining, etiquette, and childhood itself. And these next rules, they're just as strict and just as shocking. Fact 6. Garlic was banned from royal meals. For decades, one of the world's most beloved ingredients was strictly forbidden in royal kitchens. Garlic, not because of allergy, not because of religion, but because Queen Elizabeth II believed that royals should never risk having unpleasant breath while meeting world leaders. Former royal chef Darren McGrady, who cooked for the Queen, Princess Diana, and Princes William and Harry, revealed that garlic and raw onions were essentially outlawed in palace kitchens. Even classic French and Italian recipes had to be rewritten, stripped of garlic, modified with herbs and softened flavors. Royal chefs compensated with parsley, thyme, rosemary, and shallots, anything to avoid strong odors. Because for the monarchy, even something as small as a scent could threaten diplomacy, image, and dignity. To the Queen, garlic wasn't just food. It was a risk to royal perfection. But royal control doesn't stop at food. It begins at birth itself. Fact 8. Certain words are forbidden. Within royal and aristocratic circles, language itself is regulated. Certain words are considered socially unacceptable, not because they are rude, but because they are seen as too common. For example, royals must say lavatory, never toilet; sofa, never couch; serviette, never napkin; pudding, never dessert. Using the wrong word can instantly mark someone as socially inferior. These rules are drilled into royal children from a young age because vocabulary is treated as a status signal. Linguists and etiquette experts have documented these distinctions as a powerful social code separating the aristocracy from the general public. To outsiders, it sounds absurd, but inside royal society, a single word can reveal or ruin your status. And if language is controlled, so is behavior at the dinner table. Fact 9. When the monarch stops eating, everyone stops. At formal royal dinners, there's one unbreakable rule. When the monarch stops eating, everyone else must stop too, even if your plate is still full, even if you're hungry, even if the meal has just begun. The sovereign sets a pace, and the table follows. Queen Elizabeth II reportedly ate slowly during banquets to spare guests embarrassment. She knew how awkward it could be when plates were cleared mid-meal. But King Charles III is known to eat faster, meaning modern guests must eat quickly or risk losing their food. Foreign dignitaries are briefed about this rule in advance, because breaking it would be seen as a serious breach of royal protocol. At a royal dinner, you don't control when you finish. The monarch does. And royal control doesn't end with food or manners. It even extends into how royal children dress. Fact 10. Young princes must wear shorts. For generations, young royal boys have been required to wear shorts instead of long trousers, usually until around age 8. No matter the weather, no matter the event, no matter how cold Britain gets. This tradition traces back to an old aristocratic custom called breeching, marking the transition from childhood to maturity. In upper-class culture, long trousers on young boys were once considered too middle-class, even vulgar. Keeping boys in shorts symbolized status, tradition/router identity, and social confidence. The moment a prince finally wears long trousers is seen as a symbolic milestone, a visual sign that childhood is ending and responsibility is beginning. For royal children, even clothing becomes a statement of class and destiny. So far, we've seen how royalty controls food, faith, language, dining, and even childhood itself. But the final rules go even deeper, into death, security, travel, daily habits, and the private lives the public never sees. And these last rules, they prove one thing. Being royal means never truly being free. Fact 11. Royals must always pack black mourning clothes. Every senior member of the British royal family must travel with a complete black mourning outfit at all times. No exceptions, no excuses, no matter the destination. This rule exists because of a deeply emotional royal moment. In 1952, Princess Elizabeth was on an overseas tour in Kenya when her father, King George VI, died suddenly. She became queen instantly, but she had no black mourning clothes with her. When she returned to Britain, she was forced to remain inside the airplane, hidden from the public, while staff scrambled to bring her proper attire. The moment was humiliating, painful, and unforgettable. From that day forward, she enforced a rule ensuring no royal would ever face grief unprepared again. Now, if tragedy strikes anywhere in the world, royals can step forward immediately, dressed in dignity, prepared for sorrow, and ready to represent the crown. Because in royal life, even mourning must be planned in advance. But royalty doesn't just guard tradition, it guards identity, even signatures. Fact 12. Royals are forbidden from signing autographs. Members of the royal family are not allowed to sign autographs for fans. Not out of arrogance, but out of security. Royal signatures carry legal power, and releasing casual autographs into the public could enable forgery, fraud, or document tampering. To prevent this, royals politely refuse autograph requests. Instead, some draw pictures of children, write brief notes, or pose for photos. Official signatures are reserved only for state documents, treaties, and formal records. Because for the monarchy, a signature isn't a souvenir, it's authority in ink. And when royals travel abroad, their safety depends on strict survival rules. Fact 13. Shellfish is banned during royal travel. When traveling internationally, royals avoid shellfish entirely. Why? Because shellfish is one of the highest risk foods for food poisoning, and a single illness could derail diplomatic missions or embarrass the crown on the global stage. They also avoid undercooked meat, unsafe tap water, high-risk raw foods. Every meal is carefully planned to reduce the risk of illness. Even personal preferences become protocol. For example, King Charles banned foie gras at royal events due to animal welfare concerns. Because when representing a nation, getting sick isn't just personal, it's political. But some rules are so small, they seem ridiculous, yet they're enforced anyway. Fact 14. Sandwiches cannot have square corners. In royal kitchens, sandwiches must have their corners cut off. Every single one. This tradition reportedly originated from old fears of food tampering, believing dangerous objects or poison could be hidden in sharp corners. Even though modern security has made the fear obsolete, the rule still stands. Royal chefs use special cutters to create smooth, rounded edges. It applies to afternoon tea formal events and private meals. Because in royal life, even the shape of your sandwich must follow tradition. And finally, a rule that proves royalty is not always elegant. Sometimes, it's surprisingly human. Fact 15. Monopoly is banned in royal homes. In one of the most unexpected royal bans of all, the board game Monopoly is forbidden in royal residences, not for political reasons, not for moral reasons, but because it reportedly became too competitive, too emotional, and too aggressive. One royal once joked, "We're not allowed to play Monopoly at home. It gets too vicious." Behind crowns and palaces, the royal family is still just a family, capable of arguments, rivalries, and heated board game battles. Even kings and princes have their limits. The British monarchy appears glamorous, elegant, timeless, untouchable. But behind the crowns, behind the ceremonies, behind the palace walls, royal life is governed by rules older than modern society itself. Rules that control what royals eat, how they speak, who they marry, how they travel, how they dress, how they mourn, and even how they play. To the world, royalty looks like privilege, but in reality, it is a lifetime of discipline, restriction, symbolism, and sacrifice. Every step is watched. Every word is measured. Every tradition must be upheld. Because a royal is not just a person. They are a living symbol of history. And in that world, breaking a rule doesn't just break tradition. It can shake the crown itself. Royalty isn't about freedom. It's about living your entire life by rules written centuries ago.